Welcome to another video on blockchain. What I like to do is to talk a little bit about the future of blockchain, where I think it's going to go, what I think it's going to do, and possibly what kind of future we can look forward to with blockchain. Since the beginning, I've floated the idea that the future of blockchain is going to be somewhat like the future of the internet, the way the internet just exploded after it came to being and businesses were able to start using it and security was beefed up and businesses started realizing that they could make sales over the internet, and Amazon is born, and Amazon grows to show a lot of people what the art of the possible was. Back in that day, I remember one time I went out to the store and got a directory of internet sites. It was a bound work pieces, paper type book. And I thought it was just way cool. I could thumb through there and see all kinds of internet sites. And then somebody realized that putting a book like that together every year was going to be quite a nightmare, because the internet was growing so fast, with new sites being built and invented every single day. And it just became laughable that you would go buy a paper book to look up electronic internet type sites and or virtual sites. So it's almost going to be that way in the birth of the blockchain, as the blockchain begins to take over and really begins to show people what it can do in allowing people to trust each other and trust the transactions. I know when you go on to an auction site, for example, and there's several of them, so I'm not going to pick on any particular one of them, you always have that in the back of your mind, that are you going to really get the product? Because you have to rely on an individual who's sometimes not a business, but an individual who wants to resell something that they've owned for a while, possibly. You have to rely on the fact that the description of the product is right, and that it gets shipped in a timely manner, and that it arrives to you in one piece, that it's been well packaged, that you receive it in the condition that you thought you were buying it in. And then the reverse process is, if you're not satisfied with that, you have to rely on the fact that you can return the product and that you can be reimbursed for how much you paid if you're not happy. All of those things involve trust, and all of those things require that you be able to trust the person that you're dealing with. Without trust, you don't go into business relationships. And the biggest trust engine that's being built today is blockchain. So there's a great need for many different implementations of blockchain. So what I want to do today is to show you a few websites that are both interesting and point forward somehow, some ways, into the wonderful things that can be done. So I'm going to go ahead and pop open a website called Unbounded. Unbounded is a network that is an electronic yellow pages, so to speak, kind of like that bound book of internet sites that I talked about in the beginning of the video. And what you can do here is just explore. You can get a free account. I'm logged in as my name here, Richard Hansen, and I just started exploring here, and it became very interesting as I was able to go and look at the various projects. So I'm going to go to this projects tab up here, and in the projects tab, you can be able to look at all of the different projects that are on display here. You can look at the different coins here that people have used in order to promote the blockchain, because blockchain projects can be made through a distributed app that attaches to a particular blockchain, like Ethereum. Notice it has 180 projects that tag onto the Ethereum blockchain. Also, the Fabric, the Hyperledger Fabric that IBM promotes, has 159 different projects that you could explore and that you could look at. So this is a great site if you want to really get a feel for how exciting the world of blockchain is on a worldwide basis. These are all public type of blockchain. So I'm going to go up here, and I have made 5 of them favorites. I've already opened the tabs, but I want to show you what they've done and the fun that you can have with them. This 0x universe, you can go to the Apple App Store, you can go to Google Play, and you can download an app where you build ships that reside on a blockchain, and they're yours to keep forever, and explore an infinite galaxy of other planets and ships and other civilizations throughout the galaxy. It's a neat little idea of a game that you can play that is powered by a blockchain. Pretty spectacular and pretty interesting. Okay, the next one here is an oddball sort of site. I had to get a little bit of the weird in here. You see some of this art is kind of strange, kind of interesting. But the whole idea of Dada as a site is that it allows artistic people to communicate in pictures. They communicate in drawings, and they share with one another all the different drawings that they have, and it's a site that lets people upload and link their electronic and digital artwork to the blockchain, and then other people can buy digital art. And I'm sure there's a lot of weird stuff on this front screen, but I'm sure there's a lot of interesting and appropriate art that could be put in your home. Some people like the eclectic. I kind of like this face over here that's been drawn. There's a lot of interesting and unique stuff here, and it's a site for artists. So far we've seen a game, we've seen a site for artists. Let's move on to the next one. The Health Utility Network. This one is a collaboration between IBM and Cigna and Santana Healthcare. This right, you can see their names down here in the text if you can see that big enough. Those 3 companies got together, and they have been putting together this blockchain for a period of time. It is not yet public. It is, if you go to the News tab here, it tells you what their progress has been, and they've had a post here as late as December 11th where somebody asked if there was a delay, and yes, there was. They're still working out issues with regulations and issues with the paperwork type HIPAA regulations and so forth to make sure that it is right. And once you do this, you'll be able to have a portable healthcare portfolio that an individual can take from doctor to doctor as needed. You can give it your own permissions, and everybody that participates in this healthcare network can add to it as you get more procedures or more appointments and tests done during your lifetime. Pretty neat, has a lot of promise, and we've seen what IBM, of course, has done with the trade lens that I've used as an example through several of the videos too. Well, IBM's also involved in this next one here. The food supply in the United States and in fact the world is challenged by the fact that you want to be able to track where the product came from. Like for example, you have an E. coli breakout in a certain area. You want to be able to track where you got the particular item that may have gotten the E. coli bacteria on it, and be able to trace it back quickly, efficiently, and be able to then figure out where the source of the problem is and eradicate that source quickly. By being able to do so, we can prevent a lot of illnesses and potentially a lot of deaths just by knowing where the food came from and being able to track it back easily in a blockchain that can keep the data consistently and regularly. And of course, the auditability function there becomes extremely useful. Now, we've also talked about Maersk, and Maersk, of course, wants you to join their blockchain if you're a shipper. So if you do any shipping and you want to do some shipping with Maersk, they want you to be part of their blockchain. So they are openly advertising here on Unbounded for you to come there if you're in the shipping business. So like I said, this unbounded network allows you to go investigate a lot of different projects and see what the art of the possible is. I know there's a whole lot more than what I've been able to share with you today, but if you have questions, comments, please put them in the comment sections down below, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.